Hello, you guys. Welcome to Dustin the Blind Minnesotan podcast. Today, I want to talk about good places that blind and visually impaired people can live in the Minneapolis suburbs. I live in the Minneapolis suburb of Columbia Heights, Minnesota. I am the fourth suburb of St. Paul and the first ring suburb of Minneapolis. So I get public transportation access around St. Paul, and I get public transportation access around the city of Minneapolis. I really like it here in Columbia Heights, and but not all disabled people can live in Columbia Heights because there's not enough housing for everyone. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you where in the first ring suburbs we can go and still have a good life that is not everyone in Columbia Heights. So let's get into it. The first thing, if you guys watch my YouTube channel called Dustin Lindberg, I just call it Dustin Lindberg because I'm Dustin the Blind Minnesotan. And I just named my YouTube channel Dustin Lindberg. And then, so when you just type in Dustin Lindberg online, in the Google search engine, Dustin Lindberg in Minneapolis, Minnesota, you guys will see my podcast episodes I upload to YouTube and my YouTube clips all in one spot. And then, my Instagram is Dustin Lindberg too. So when you Google Dustin Lindberg, this podcast episode will show up on YouTube as audio, and my videos will show up. So if you go look at Dustin Lindberg, my YouTube channel, you can see the visuals of what I'm saying. And then in my YouTube videos, I show you guys the bus lines, the bus routes through this neighborhood, these neighborhoods I'm about to explain, and why you should live there. And I physically go on to Google Maps Street View and show you what's around the transit stations I'm going to mention today and why you should live there. My YouTube videos are not, it's not as personal as my podcast, but, they're made to also assist in the knowledge and expand off my podcast. Because, a podcast, unless you have a big fancy studio that I can't afford, it's hard to do video and audio together. So that's why I have an audio series on my YouTube, and then I have a video series on my YouTube, and I also upload my audio to my YouTube, so then you can see everything in one spot and listen to everything in one spot and watch everything in one spot. And then I just have this podcast on the side, so then whoever's listening just wants to listen to my podcast part of me can just listen to the podcast part of me. So if you want to see any visuals of the spots I'm talking about today, you can see them on my YouTube channel, Dustin Lindberg. The first thing I want to talk about where you guys should look into is called the Northtown Transit Center. The Northtown Transit Center is in Blaine, and it's next to the Northtown Mall. So, and it has the 10 bus that goes from downtown Minneapolis to Northtown Mall and Blaine. And then there's another bus that goes from Northtown Mall and Blaine through the shopping mall in downtown Coon Rapids. And then it goes through northern Coon Rapids, past Anoka Ramsey. And then it goes through downtown Anoka. And then it goes over the Mississippi River and then ends at Anoka Technical College. So if you live at the Northtown Mall area in Blaine, that be the Northtown Transit Center, you can technically take a bus all the way to Anoka Technical College in northern Anoka, all the way to downtown Minneapolis because of the two buses. And then you can take Transit Link because you can take the Transit Link from your apartment near the Northtown Mall in Blaine to the Northtown Transit Center in Blaine that's next to the Northtown Mall in Blaine. And then you can hop on a city bus to go wherever you need to go. That's why you want to have access to Transit Link, because the Transit Link will take you to the bus service area. Or you can just take Transit Link to the bus stop, and after Transit Link drives away, you can just go to the Target, the Walmart, the Cubs, the Home Depot, the Best Buy outlet, the Burlington Coat Factory, Hobby Lobby, and Chick-fil-A's in the parking lot of the mall, and Applebee's, and Red Lobster. Red Lobster's across the street from the mall, over by Sleep Number. The Sleep Number, you can just take Transit Link to that bus station, wait for it to drive off, and just walk to one of those areas to do your shopping, and then have Transit Link pick you up at a certain time, and then take Transit Link back home. Because people with disabilities starts needing to rely on services like Transit Link to get them to a major bus stop that has shopping and stuff near their house. And then when Transit Link drives away, they're not going to know that you didn't hop on a regular city bus. And then, you can go shopping around that bus station. And then Transit Link will come pick you up thinking that you went on a regular city bus. You pay to get on it, and then boom, you go back home. The apartments over by the Northtown Mall, when you're there at the Northtown Transit Center, you're not really going to see them because the apartments over there are like only 4 stories tall. So the trees kind of hide them, and the retail stores kind of hide them. But over there's a Sam's Club, there's a Walmart, and there's a small 4-story apartment over there. And there's like apartments all around the Northtown Mall / the Northtown Transit Center that you really can't see because it's only 4 stories tall and all the trees kind of hide them. But there is apartments. And also, if you live in Northern Blaine where there's no city bus, you can call Transit Link, and then Transit Link will pick you up and bring you to the Northtown Mall in Blaine because of the Northtown Transit Center. And then you just wait at the transit center until, you see them drive off. And then you just shop around the Northtown Mall in Blaine / Northtown Transit Center. And then you just be there by the time Transit Link says that they're going to pick you up. You hop on it and boom, you pay and you go home. So, and then also if you live in Blaine, Metro Mobility is 24 hours a day if they have people working. So if they can find people working at night, they have someone that can pick you up at 1 a.m. if they have someone working. If they have someone working, they can have someone pick you up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or midnight, or So if you don't want to use Transit Link to get to the Northtown Mall to do your shopping and stuff and to get to work, you can also take Metro Mobility that runs 24 hours in Blaine. And then the good thing also is that Fridley, the town underneath Blaine, between me and Columbia Heights, between Blaine and Columbia Heights, Metro Mobility there is also 24 hours a day. So also if you live near the Northtown Mall, you can also hop on Metro Mobility to go anywhere you kind of want, because the 10 bus that goes between the Northtown Mall and through Fridley, through Columbia Heights to downtown Minneapolis runs 24 hours a day. And then so that's why the Metro Mobility bus runs 24 hours a day. So if you live anywhere between the Northtown Mall and Blaine, and like Blaine, Fridley, or Columbia Heights, or Hilltop, you're going to get 24 hours Metro Mobility. And also, if Metro Mobility won't give you a ride because there's not enough drivers, you can call Transit Link, and TransitLink will pick you up at your house. You can say, hey, I want to get to the Northtown Mall in Blaine. They drive you to the Northtown Mall in Blaine / Northtown Transit Center. They drop you off, and then once you see them take off, and they don't see you hop on the other bus anymore. You just walk to whatever store you need, get back to there when, like you said you will. They pick you up, you prepay when you get on that bus, and then TransitLink takes you home. Am I telling you to lie to TransitLink? Yes. Am I encouraging you to lie to TransitLink? Yes. Sometimes you have to lie, do some white lies to get access to cheap public transportation. Yay! Another place you can live that's people with disabilities should live is here in Columbia Heights with me. The Columbia Heights Transit Station, has the 10 bus that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Even on Christmas. On Christmas, the 10 bus came every 2 hours. But, it still worked. And then on Easter, it runs only every 2 hours, but because it's holiday schedule, but at least you can still get around. And then, you have access to 11 bus that goes from Columbia Heights through the Northeast Arts District, and then over the Hennepin Bridge into downtown. And then you have the 10 that I like to take that just goes down the new part of Northeast, the regular part of Northeast, down Central over the 3rd Avenue Bridge, and then into downtown Minneapolis. And then Metro Mobility here is 24 hours a day. So then, and then also if you live in a part of Columbia Heights that's not along the bus station and Metro Mobility can't give you a ride because there's not enough drivers, you can call TransitLink, and then TransitLink will pick you up from your house, take you to the Columbia Heights Transit Center, where then you can hop on a regular bus to go wherever you need to go. Remember that TransitLink, people. If you're in Anoka County, don't forget the TransitLink, because the TransitLink makes your life easier when Metro Mobility fails and you don't have a regular city bus near you. Just remember the TransitLink. And then, so Columbia Heights is a good place for you guys to live. Northeast Minneapolis is also a good place for you guys to live, but they don't have any major stations there. But the 32 bus that goes from Robbinsdale through North Minneapolis, through the Northeast Minneapolis Art District neighborhood, through the just regular Northeast, through St. Anthony, and ends at the Rosedale Mall in Roseville, Minnesota. It's a suburb above St. Paul. It's a very long bus ride. You still have access to that bus. You have access to the 10. You have access to the 11 and in Northeast. And you also have access to 24-hour Metro Mobility. The only service you don't have access in Northeast is TransitLink, because TransitLink does not have contract with Hennepin County. And they don't have a contract with Ramsey County. TransitLink only has right now a contract with Anoka. So if you want to go someplace in Ramsey or you want to go someplace in Hennepin, you can't use TransitLink right now. But if you're in Anoka County where I live, you can use TransitLink because of contracts and stuff. And then Northeast Minneapolis is a good place for disabled people to live. But Northeast, trying to find affordable housing there is very hard because Northeast is where the University of Minnesota is. So it's expensive because all the university college kids want to live near the university. So if you want to live in Northeast, you have to be a little bit careful because of the pricing. You could find some, but it's really hard. Another good area to live in the Minneapolis area would be Brooklyn Center, North and Brooklyn Center. The Brooklyn Center transit station, that's in South Brooklyn Center. If you live in North Brooklyn Center, more towards Brooklyn Park, you're going to be okay because Top Golf is in South Brooklyn Center. The Brooklyn Center transit station is in South Brooklyn Center. more towards North Minneapolis. If you're living in Brooklyn Center, you want to live in North Brooklyn Center. Because if you live in North Brooklyn Center, more towards Brooklyn Park, you're going to still find disability housing, and you're going to be in safer neighborhoods. And then you can take the but if you live in North Brooklyn Center, you want to make sure you're near the 724 bus. Because the 724 bus will take you to the Brooklyn Center transit station, where then you can get to Columbia Heights, and St. Anthony and Roseville by the 801 bus, Monday through Friday. It comes every 2 hours. And you can still get to downtown Minneapolis with the D bus. So, and then if you live in North Brooklyn Center, if you take the 724, you can get up to the Starlight Center in Brooklyn Park too, and the Starlight Center in Brooklyn Park has a big shopping area around it. And that shopping area in Brooklyn Park, in my opinion, is way better than the shopping area in Brooklyn Center. Just even the layout is better, in my opinion. The way the buildings are designed. And then also in Brooklyn Center, Metro Mobility is not 24 hours, but it's like 23 hours or 22 hours or 20 hours a day. Because Brooklyn Center, the Metro Mobility buses only have like a 4-hour break. It's like between like midnight and 4 a.m., somewhere in there, because they need time to clean the buses. And for the drivers to use the bathroom and have a little lunch break and fill up the buses with gas. So Metro Mobility in Brooklyn Center is really, really good. But you want to be for safety, you want to live in North Brooklyn Center. And Brooklyn Park is, I must say, if you're disabled, you want to aim towards Brooklyn Park. Because Brooklyn Park is the most suburban place where people with disabilities can still live and still have access to public transportation. And also, I love Brooklyn Park because once you get to the Brooklyn Park Starlight Transit Center station, you can take a bus from there to Hennepin Technical College, and then you can take a different bus to North Hennepin Community College, and then they have their own separate bus for Walmart. Walmart has their own bus. So it'll be kind of like you live in Northern Brooklyn Center. You can take the 724 bus up to the Starlight Transit Center, and then from the Starlight Transit Center, you can hop on a second bus to go to Walmart. Or you can hop on a bus to go to North Hennepin Community College, or you can hop on a bus to go to Hennepin Technical College, where I went to school. Hennepin Technical College, in my opinion, is way better than North Hennepin Community College because the way the school is designed, the classes they have, and stuff, but that's not the conversation we're talking about. But Brooklyn Park has pretty good Metro Mobility service, but their Metro Mobility service is only like 20 hours a day. You know what I mean? So it's not 24 hours, but their Metro Mobility Center in Brooklyn Park is still really, really good. And that's the furthest out you want to live in the North Minneapolis suburbs because on the west side of the river, because once you get past that, you run into Osseo, Champlin, and stuff, and the services out there suck. But if you go to Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center area, that's the furthest out and on the west side of the river of the Mississippi suburbs that you can go and be okay with public transportation. And then more inner than Brooklyn Center, Robbinsdale is more closer to Minneapolis than Brooklyn Center and Brooklyn Park are. And Robbinsdale is a small little town. It blends in with North Minneapolis. If you don't know North Minneapolis well, you would think, cool, I'm going through North Minneapolis. Oh, cool, there's a beautiful park here. 3 rows of park. And woohoo, where's more North Minneapolis? Well, you're not noticing that park in North Minneapolis at 3 Door Worth Park separates Robbinsdale from North Minneapolis. But when I first moved to Minneapolis, I didn't know that. So I accidentally confused Robbinsdale with North Minneapolis because there's no major freeway separating North Minneapolis from Robbinsdale. Robbinsdale, North Minneapolis just clash together. And the only thing separating them is a major park that has 3 Door Worth Park, has a sledding hill, has a playground, has a swimming area. It has a playground for kids. It has a beautiful bike path. Once you get into 3 Door Worth Park, from there, there's a trail that'll take that'll take you all the way to Maple Grove. There's a bike trail that'll take you all the way to Plymouth. There's a bike trail that'll take you all the way to Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center. There's a bike trail that'll take you all the way to St. Louis Park. There's a bike trail that takes you through downtown Minneapolis, all the way to Bloomington. And then there's a bike trail that would take you through North Minneapolis. The bike trail goes along the Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park border and over the river into Anoka/Coon Rapids. And then you can bike downwards from Anoka through Coon Rapids into Columbia Heights and then back into northeast Minneapolis. Then you can bike through northeast Minneapolis and go away into St. Paul. The bike path kind of ends in downtown St. Paul. So if you live near 3 Door Worth Park, you can kind of bike for hours around the whole Minneapolis St. Paul metro. And then it kind of acts as a wall to stop people from being crazy from North Minneapolis from going directly into Robbinsdale. And then Robbinsdale is nothing really exciting there. Around the Robbinsdale bus hub, there is a strip mall with a McDonald's. Every good suburban city should have a McDonald's. And then a Subway. Every suburban city in Minnesota should have a Subway. And then they have a Dollar Tree, a Dollar General. And then they have Walgreens and a CVS and, you know what I mean? All around that transit station, they have a Huntington Bank, and then they have a bunch of old school apartments. So the apartments they have there were built 40, 50 years ago, where it's concrete built, and then the parking lot, and everyone parks in surface lots. So, but if you're blind and visually impaired, you don't need a car, so you're not going to care about a surface parking lot because you're not going to have access to a car. And then rents there are a little bit cheaper, because they're older buildings and stuff. But then you can take the 14 bus that goes from the downtown Robbinsdale / the transit center to downtown Minneapolis. And that 14 bus is freaking amazing because that 14 bus will take you from the downtown area where their low-income apartments are to Hy-Vee, where the rich people in Robbinsdale live. And then you can shop at Hy-Vee. If you guys haven't ever shopped at Hy-Vee before, you are missing wonderful opportunities. Hy-Vee is taking Cub Foods, Colburn's, the Marketplace, Fresh Time, Whole Foods, Walmart, Target, and blending it all together. And then you get this beautiful Majesty Hy-Vee grocery store. So then you can have access to Hy-Vee, And next to Hy-Vee, Robbinsdale has like a hospital, a clinic, and all that stuff. And then you can this is all in the 14 bus. And then the 14 bus will take you through Three Door Rose Park. That has a stop there, so then you can hang around at the park. And then it goes into North Minneapolis, and then it goes into it stops right by the North Minneapolis Cub Foods. So you could also go to Cub Foods, and then it goes into downtown. So, Robbinsdale is also a very good place for people with disabilities to live because of the bus. And the Metro Mobility there doesn't run 24 hours a day, but it runs 20 hours a day. So they only have 4 or 5 hours that they use to clean up the buses and stuff. But, a lot of the Metro Mobility buses, they go into 12:30 p.m. in those kind of in those neighborhoods. And then that's when they do their stop, and then they have a big break, and they start anywhere between 4 to 6 a.m. again. Because they just need time to, clean the buses, fill up the gas, make sure the buses are not broken, make sure all the seatbelts are working. If they can find drivers to do that during the night. So, and then, so pretend if you don't live along the city bus there, you can still use a really good Metro Mobility to get around, that area. And then another good area would be Crystal. But Crystal doesn't really have good public transportation like a city bus. If you live there, you kind of have to rely on Metro Mobility. And New Hope is a good city for disabled people to live in, but they don't really have a bus line. They're very car-centric, so you have to rely on Metro Mobility, and their Metro Mobility there sucks compared to Robbinsdale, Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center, Blaine, Fridley, and Columbia Heights, and North Minneapolis, and Northeast Minneapolis, and downtown Minneapolis. So those areas, Metro Mobilities would be better, but at least with New Hope and Crystal, you still get some Metro Mobility, but it's not the best Metro Mobility. And another good place to live, but this is I'm gonna let you guys know, in my opinion, a lot of disabled people can't afford to live here, but I still want to mention it so then I'm not being biased, because me as a blind and vision impaired influencer, I'm supposed to be honest with you and be honest with my guests. Another place you can live is Edina, near the Southdale Mall. But I went over there and I looked when I was trying to flee downtown Minneapolis. But the issue with Edina is everything there is shiny and new along the public transportation systems. Because the bus goes from downtown Minneapolis to Southdale. But what happened is Southdale had all this parking lot that they were not using. So Southdale said, okay, let's build brand new apartments around our mall. So then they're building all these $3,000, $4,000 a month apartment buildings all around Southdale. But the issue with Edina is all the low-income apartments that disabled people can live in are not near Southdale. They're in the parts, they're far away from Southdale, where rich people don't want to live. So then, if you want to go anywhere in Southdale, you have to rely in Edina, in Edina, if you want to go anywhere, you have to rely on Metro Mobility. But at least in Edina, Metro Mobility runs 10 hours a day. So it's better than living further south than Edina, but you still get some Metro Mobility there, but it's not as good as living in the northern Minneapolis suburbs, because 95% of Edina is single family homes, and they're finally getting 95-ish amount, and they're finally getting apartments there. But the apartments they're getting are like brand new apartments that are hard for people like us to afford. But once in a while, some of these apartments, they might have reduced units for low-income people, because Hennepin County is different than Anoka. Hennepin County has a law where for every so many high-end income units you build, you have to build so many low-income units. So, but those issue is like Southdale Mall is such a good area to live by. In Edina, every disabled person wants to live there. So the really few units that they have get filled up quickly. But don't lose hope, because if you're a blind and vision impaired person and you can live in Edina, you're going to have so much opportunities. You can work at so many places. You're going to be in a safe neighborhood with high income earners. They're not going to steal from each other or shoot each other or rob from each other. You are going to be in paradise if you can live near the Southdale Mall in Edina, because the bus goes from the Southdale Mall through South Minneapolis, through the Uptown neighborhood, and then through more South Minneapolis all the way until you get to downtown. So it goes on that side, it's pretty much Southwest Minneapolis. So Southdale is a beautiful area for people to live in. And then St. Louis Park, that's also another good area, but the public transportation with Metro Mobility is similar to Edina. They only kind of run like Metro Mobility 10 hours a day. And there's a bus line that goes from the major shopping area in St. Louis Park, and it goes through Uptown, and then through that'd be Southwest Minneapolis and into downtown. And then that area is also very nice, but they have the same issue as Edina. 95% of the neighborhood, the neighborhoods in St. Louis Park are single family homes. So then the big shopping areas in St. Louis Park are we have all these parking lots that we're not using. Let's turn our empty parking lots into luxury apartments. So then our mall's making money from the renters living in the apartments, and they're also making money from the renters and the paying rent in the mall, and we're making money by people coming to the mall, spending money at the mall, and then giving those people the ability to pay rent. So St. Louis Park, around the big shopping malls in St. Louis Park, is also a good area for disabled people to live. But they have the Edina problem, where a lot of the apartments are new and very expensive for disabled people to live in. And then that's where you pretty much want to go when you're disabled. But, I am slowly opening up in the Minneapolis suburbs, but I'm slowly opening my mind to the St. Paul side of the river, because I finally moved over here. And St. Anthony, this town between mine and Roseville, that area is okay for disabled people live in, but the negative is with St. Anthony is, because it's a higher end neighborhood, that the public transportation system only runs Monday through Friday. And the bus comes there only every 2 hours. And then you have Rosedale, that's the first ring suburb of St. Paul. And the issue with Rosedale is their only really public transportation is between the Rosedale Mall and downtown St. Paul. And they have the 32 bus that does go from, Rosedale through St. Anthony, through northeast Minneapolis, through North Minneapolis and to Robbinsdale. But that runs during the weekends and stuff. And they have the 801 bus that runs only Monday through Friday that goes from Brooklyn Center through Columbia Heights, through St. Anthony, into Roseville/Rosedale Mall. And then, but the only reliable but those all run Monday through Friday, but the 32 and the one that goes from Rosedale Mall to downtown St. Paul. It goes past Como Zoo, past the State Fairgrounds, and into St. Paul that way. But the good thing is about living in the Roseville is that the buses there run a good, the Metro Mobility buses there run a good 20 hours a day. So it's not because it's a suburb of St. Paul, the first ring suburb of St. Paul. So it's not it's not, as good as the public transportation where I live in Anoka County is. But Ramsey, the closer you go to St. Paul, is pretty much the same thing what happens when the closer you get to Minneapolis. So if you live in Roseville, Minnesota, and you live closer to Rosedale Mall you get, the better Metro Mobility service you get, and the better public transportation you get. And the good thing about Roseville is, all the apartments around the mall are mixed. There's old apartments over there, there are new apartments over there, and all this stuff. So no matter what your income level is, you can find something for you, and then you can just take Metro Mobility to the mall or Uber to the mall, where then you can hop on a city bus to go to Minneapolis kind of through on the 32, or get to downtown St. Paul. So, or you can just shop at the strip malls around Rosedale, or in the physical strip or the physical mall themselves. When I go to Rosedale Mall, I'm not going for the stores in the mall. I'm going for the stores in the strip malls around the mall. Because for me as a guy, the stores in the strip malls outside of Rosedale Mall have more interesting stores that I like than the stores in the Rosedale Mall. So I go to Rosedale, I take the 10 bus from Columbia Heights during the weekends to Northeast, and then I hop on the 32 and I go east, and then I go all the way to Rosedale Mall, where I shop in the strip malls outside the mall. So, or sometimes I take Metro Mobility from Columbia Heights just to Rosedale Mall. It depends on what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling. Or sometimes if I'm going during the weekday, I'll take the 801 bus that goes from Brooklyn Center to Columbia Heights through St. Anthony and then to the Rosedale Mall if I'm going during the week, if I don't want to take Metro Mobility. So Rosedale Mall is also a perfect spot for disabled people to live. And I'm slowly learning more about the St. Paul Metro. And as I get more understanding, I'll be able to get you guys more answers. So I just wanted to talk about it because, I've been making YouTube videos about this topic, and I thought it'd finally be good for me to release a podcast episode about it. So then, my podcast listeners who are just listening to my podcast part would be able to know this information. And then the people who are watching and listening to my podcast and my videos on YouTube are also getting this information. So then, they're getting a complete guide no matter, which way you guys listen. I prefer you guys listening to the audio on YouTube because listening to the audio on YouTube gives me more accurate stats. Like the Spotify, and Apple Podcasts apps, they give me a guess, but they don't really tell me who's really listening or not. Well, the YouTube service tells me how long you're actually listening, how often you're listening, do you pause it then come back later, what countries are you from. YouTube Studio will tell me all that information that Spotify won't and Apple Podcasts won't. So I prefer you guys listening to this on YouTube, to be honest, but not everyone has YouTube Premium. So I put this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the people who don't have YouTube Premium that can listen to things in the background. Because I pay for YouTube Premium. So I can listen to things in the background, but not everyone has the money and the resources to pay for YouTube Premium. So that's why I release it on multiple platforms that are actually real podcast platforms where it's easier for people who don't pay for YouTube Premium to listen to it. Because in my opinion, YouTube Premium is the only subscription service that people outside the United States need, because you can listen to podcasts like this in the background. You can watch YouTube videos with no ads. You can download podcast episodes like this onto your phone, so then you don't have to use up your data. You can, when there's no Wi-Fi available, like an airplane, a train, or underground tunnel. And then you get no ads, ones from the YouTube service. And also, half the world uses YouTube. So if you find a podcast episode that you like and you share it with a friend, it's easier for them to listen to it than using a platform like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Well, guys, I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you for listening, and peace out.